All right. Testing. All right. Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. 392 Drivers of Commercial Motor Vehicles, Subpart A General. 392 1 Scope of the Rules, Part 2 Applicable Operation 3. Ill or fatigue operative. 4 Drugs and other substances. 5 Alcohol prohibition. 6 Scheduled to perform speed limits. Scheduled to conform with speed limits. 7 Equipment inspection use. 8 Equipment inspection. Emergency equipment inspection use. 9 Inspection cargo securement device and system. 9A Operating Authority. Prohibited transportation. Subpart B driving commercial motor vehicles. 10 Railroad grade crossing stopping required. 11 Railroad grade crossing slowdown required. Highway rail crossing safe clearance. 13 reserve. 14 hazard condition extreme cautions. 15 reserve. 16 use of seat belts. 18 reserve. Subpart C stop commercial motor vehicles. 392, 20 and 21 reserve. 22 emergency signal stop commercial motor vehicles. 24 emergency signal flame producing. 25 flame producing devices. Subpart D use lighted lamps reflectors. 30 and 32 reserve. 33 obscure lamps reflective devices materials. Subpart E license revocation duties of the driver reserved. Subpart F fuel precautions ignition fuel preservation. 51 reserve fuel materials of trade. 52 reserved. Subpart G prohibited practice unauthorized. 60 prohibited unauthorized person transported. 61 reserved. 62 safe operation buses. 63 towing and pushing loaded buses. 64 riding with closed commercial motor vehicles without proper exits. 65 reserve. 66 carbon monoxide use of commercial motor vehicles when detected. 67 heater flame producing commercial motor vehicles vehicle and motor motion. 68 through 69 reserved. 71 radar detectors used on other possessions and or possessions. Subpart H limiting using electronic device. 80 prohibition against texting. 82 using handheld mobile telephones. And Subpart A General 392-1. Scope of the rules is part every motor carrier is the officer of the agents of the representative of the employer. The responsible management maintains the operation of the driving the commercial motor vehicle with the hiring of the supervising, training, assigning, dispatching drivers should be instructed and comply with the rules of this part. The rules of this part do not apply with the driver of the pipe welding trucks is defined in Title 49 CFR 390-38B. 392-2 applicable operating rules. E. Every commercial motor vehicle operated in accordance with laws, ordinance, regulation, jurisdiction, which beginning with the operated, however, the regulation, Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration imposes higher standard care law, ordinances, regulation, Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration regulations must comply with. 392-3 ill and fated operator. No driver shall operate with a commercial motor vehicle. The motor carrier shall not permit driver to operate a commercial motor vehicle while the driver ability, alertness is so impaired or likely to become impaired with fatigue, illness, and any of the other causes making it unsafe for his or her beginning continuing operating commercial motor vehicle. However, in the case of the grave emergency of the hazard occupant of the commercial motor vehicle or other use of the highway would be an increased compliance with the section of the driver may continue to operate the commercial motor vehicle to the nearest place at which the hazard is removed. Drugs or other substances. No driver to be on duty possessed under the influence of the use of any of the following drugs other than substance. Any 21 Title 21 CFR 1308 11 substance 1 substance amphetamine with any of the formula used including but not limited to peat pills or beans, narcotic drugs, derivatives thereof, and any other substance agreed with the render of the driver incapable of safely operating the motor vehicle. No motor carrier shall require a permanent driver to violate paragraph A of the section. Paragraph A 2 and 3 and 4 do not apply with the possession use of the substance administered by the driver under instruction license and medical practitioner defined in 382-107. The subchapter will advise the driver the substance will not affect the driver's ability to safely operate the motor vehicle. As used within the section, possession does not include the possession of the substance of the manifest that's transported as a shipment. Or 392.5 Alcohol Prohibition. No driver use alcohol defined 382.107 in the subchapter under this influence of alcohol for 4 hours before going on and doing operating physical control of the commercial motor vehicle. Using alcohol be under the influence of alcohol, have any other measured alcohol concentrations that detected to presence of the alcohol while on duty operating with physical control of the commercial motor vehicle. Be on duty operate in a commercial motor vehicle while driving possessing wine on not less than 1/2 of the 1% of alcohol by volume per deemed in Title 26 U.S. Standard Code 5052A. For the Internal Revenue Code 1954, distilled spirits are defined in Section 5002A8 of such code, however, that does not apply with the possession of wine or beer or distilled spirits, which are manifestly transported in part of the shipment is possessed or even bus passengers, not motor carriers shall require with a permit to driver violate any possession of paragraph A of the section, be on duty to operate with a commercial motor vehicle if the driver generated an appearance of the conduct by other substanding evidence that the driver appears to have the use of alcohol within the preceding 4 hours, and any driver who is found to be in the violation provision of paragraph A and B of the section shall be placed out of service immediately for the period of 24 hours. Any 24 hours for the period commencing upon issuance of the out of service order, no driver shall violate the terms of the out of service order issued under the section. Any driver who has issued out of service order under this section report the such issuance of his or her within 24 hours. Report a issuance of state with the official designated by the state with his or her driver's license within 30 days, unless the driver chooses to request review of the order. In this case, the driver shall report the order to the state official within 30 days of the affirmation of the order, either division administrator of the state, director of the geographical area, or the administrator. Any driver who is subject to the out of service order of the section with any permission may petition review of the order, submitting the petition review writing of the 10 days as issuance the order of the division administrator of the state director of the geographical area of the order was the issue of the division administrator of the state director affirm the reserve of the order, and the driver adversely affected with such order regional director of the motor carriers may petition the administrator to review the accordance of Title 49 CFR 386.13, 392.6 the schedule to conform to speed limits. No motor carrier shall schedule not permit require the operating of any commercial motor vehicle between point such period of time would necessitate the commercial motor vehicle being operated with speed greater than those prescribed in the jurisdiction in or through the commercial motor vehicle is being operated. 392.7 equipment inspection use. No commercial motor vehicle shall be driven unless the driver is satisfied with the following parts, accessories in good working order, nor shall the driver fail to use the mark and make and such parts accessory when such are needed. Service placed including tractor trailer brake connections, braking, handbrake, steering brakes, lighting devices, reflectors, tires, wheels, horns, windshield wipers, rear vision mirrors and mirrors, decoupling devices, wheels, rims, and emergency equipment. Our drivers preparing to transport inter-module equipment must make the inspection following component that must be satisfied that they are in good working order before the equipment is operated over the road. The drivers operating with equipment over the road should be deemed to have confirmed the following components that were in good working order with the driver. Acceptance of the equipment, service brake component with the readily visible of the driver performing throughout the visual inspection as possible without physically going under the vehicle and trailer brake connections. Lighting devices, lamp marked with security marking like materials, wheels, rims, lugs, tires, airline connections, hoses, couplers, kingpin, upper coupling device, rails, support frame, tie-down bolsters, locking pins, clevises, clamps, hooks, and sliders, sliding frame lock. 392.8 emergency equipment inspection in the use. No more commercial motor vehicle shall be driven unless the fare of the satisfied emergency equipment required in 393.95 the subchapter in the place readily for the use and shall any driver fill the use the make of the use of such equipment when it is needed. 392.9 inspection of the cargo securement devices and systems. General device driver may not a commercial motor vehicle. The motor carrier may not require a permit to drive the operator of the commercial motor vehicle unless commercial motor vehicle's cargo is properly distributed to adequately secure with the specified 393.100 through 393.136 of the subchapter. The commercial motor vehicle with the tailboard doors, tarpaulin, spare tire with equipment used in the operation means of the fastening. Commercial motor vehicles with cargo are secure. The commercial motor vehicle with the cargo other objects is not obscure with the driver's view of the head of the right and left side except for the driver's self-steer dollies interfere within the free movement of his or her legs and prevent his or her with the readily access accessories required for the emergency. Prevent free of the ready exists with any of the person commercial motor vehicle cab compartment. Driver of the truck, tractor, trailer, except the provided in paragraph B4 of the section. Driver truck of the tractor trailer must assure himself of him or herself the provision in paragraph A of the section has been complied with and before he or she drives the commercial motor vehicle, inspect the cargo device and ensure the cargo within 50 miles after being driven and cause the adjustment made with the cargo loading, securement of the device, and necessary include adding more securement of the device and ensure the cargo cannot shift on or within the fall of the commercial motor vehicle. Re-examine the commercial motor vehicle, the cargo load, securement of the devices to secure the course of the transportation, making the necessary adjustment to the cargo load, securement include adding the more secure devices, ensuring the cargo can shift within the fail from the commercial motor examination, re-examination. Any necessary adjustments must be made whenever driver must makes changes of his or her duty status. The commercial motor vehicle has been driven for 3 hours. The commercial motor vehicle has driven 150 miles, in whichever it occurs first. Alright, the rules in paragraph B do not apply with the driver when the seal of the commercial motor vehicle who has been ordered not to open and inspect the cargo or to the driver of the commercial motor vehicle has been loaded if the manner of the makes inspection of the cargo impracticable. 392.9a Operating Authority. Operating authority required motor vehicle provided the transportation requiring operating authority must not be operated without required operating authority beyond scope of the operating authority granted. Penalties. Every motor carrier providing transportation requiring operating authority shall be ordered out of the service to determine whether the motor carrier is an operating vehicle in violation of paragraph A of the section. In addition, with the motor carrier made subject penalties in accordance with the Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 14901. Administrative reviews upon issuing the out of service order under paragraph B of the section. Driver shall immediately such order operate. The review is provided with accordance with 5 without U.S. Standard Code 554, no later than 10 days after the issuance of such order. 392.9b, prohibited transportation. Safety registration required of the commercial motor vehicle to provide with the transportation interstate of the commerce must be operative with the safe regulation registration active with the U.S. dot number. Penalties and determine that the motor carrier responsible for the operation of such vehicle is operating in violation paragraph A of the section and must subject to penalties in accordance with Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 521. Alright, so Part B, driving commercial motor vehicles. 392.10, railroad grade crossing stopping required, except provided in paragraph B of the 6th and the driver of commercial motor vehicles specified in paragraph 8th, 1 through 6 of this section, shall not cross the railroad track of the tracks graded unless he or she first stops the commercial motor vehicle within 50 feet of no class within 15 feet through the tracks, thereafter listens to and looks at each direction along the tracks and approaching train with the assertion that no train is approaching. When it's safe to do so, the driver may drive the commercial motor vehicle across the tracks greater of the permits of the commercial motor vehicle, completing crossing without changing the gear of the driver must not shift the gears when crossing the tracks. Every business, transportation, passenger, every commercial motor vehicle, the transportation, any quantity division of 2.3 chlorine, every commercial motor vehicle with according to the regulations of the Department of Transportation required marked on the plaque card of the divisions and the classifications. Every car, and I'm going to skip all the classes and divisions. Every cargo of the motor vehicle, the load empty with the use of the transportation hazard material defined in hazard material regulation, Department of Transportation, Part 107 through 180 of this title. Every cargo tank of the motor vehicle, the transportation commodity, at which time loading at the temperature above the flash point determined in 173, 120 of this title. Every cargo tank motor vehicle to which whether loaded and empty transporting any commodity exemption with accordance with the provision of subpart B of Part 107 of the title of stop and either not to be made with a streetcar crossing on railroad tracks exclusively industrial switching purposes for the business district as defined in 390F and 395 of this chapter. Railroad grade crossing, when policy officer for the crossing flagman directs the traffic to perceive the railroad grade crossing control of the functional highway traffic signal transmittal, and in green indicating that under local law permits the commercial motor vehicle to proceed across the railroad tracks without slowing or stopping. An abandoned railroad grade crossing is marked with a sign indicating the railway line is abandoned. Industrial spur line railroad grade crossing marked with a sign reading exempt. Such exempt sign shall be erected only within the consent of the appropriate state and local authority. Alright, 392.11, the railroad grade crossing slowing down record. Railroad grade crossing slowdown required. Every commercial motor vehicle other than listed in 392.10 shall, upon approaching the railroad grade crossing, be driven at the rate of speed with the permit of the state commercial motor vehicle to be stopped before reaching the nearest rail. Such crossing shall not be driven upon over such crossing until the due caution has been taken to assertion of the course of the clear. 392.12 highway rail crossing safe clearance. No driver in the commercial motor vehicle shall drive onto a highway rail grade crossing without having sufficient space to drive completely through the crossing without stopping. 392.13, reserve. 392.14, hazard conditions, extreme caution. Extreme caution operation commercial motor vehicles shall be exercise hazardous conditions such as caused by snow, ice, sleet, fog, mist, rain, dust, smoky, adversely affect the visibility, traction, speedily reduces which such condition exists. The conditions become sufficient dangerous. Operation of the commercial motor vehicle shall be discontinued, should not be resumed until the commercial motor vehicle can be safely operated when the compliant with the foregoing provisions. Increase the hazard to passenger of the commercial motor vehicle that may operate at the nearest point at which the safety passenger is assured. 392.15 reserve. 392.16 use of seatbelts. No driver shall operate with a commercial motor vehicle when a motor carrier shall not require a permit of the driver to operate with a commercial motor vehicle. The seatbelt assembly installed with the driver's seat and lift. The driver is promptly restrained by the seatbelt assembly. Passengers, no driver shall operate a property carrying commercial motor vehicle with a motor carrier shall not require a permit of the driver to operate with the property carrying commercial motor vehicle that has a seatbelt assembly installed with the seats other than the occupants of the vehicle unless all of the occupants are properly restrained by the such seatbelt assemblies. 392.18 reserved. Subpart C, stop commercial motor vehicle. 392 through 20 to 21 reserved. 392.22 emergency signal stopped in commercial motor vehicles. Alright, hazardous warning signal flashes whenever the commercial motor vehicle is stopped on the travelable portion of the highway to shoulder for the highway. Any of the call for the necessary traffic stop. The driver stop of the commercial motor vehicle shall immediately activate the vehicular hazard warning signal flash. If the continual flashing until the driver play for the warning device required for the paragraph B of the section, the flashing signals be used during the time of the warning device or picked up with the storage before movement of the commercial motor vehicle. The flashing light may be used at other time of the commercial motor vehicle to stop. The addition did not in lieu of the warning of the device required in paragraph B of the placement of the warning device general with except the provided in paragraph B2 of the section. section whenever commercial motor vehicle is stopped within travel portion of the shoulder highway, if any, of the cover of the other necessary traffic delivery shall as soon as possible, that in an event with the 10 minutes of the place of the warning device required within 393.95 of the subchapter in the following manner on the traffic side of the four placed within approximately 3 meters and 10 feet with the top of the commercial motor vehicle in the direction of the approaching traffic. 1 at 40 pace of approximately 30 meters or 100 feet from the stopped commercial motor vehicle to the center of the traffic lane. Shoulder occupants of the commercial motor vehicle in the direction approaching the traffic. 1 at the 40 pace is approximately 30 meters, 40 or 100 feet from the stopped commercial motor vehicle. The center of the traffic lane should be the occupied commercial motor vehicle in the direction away from the approaching traffic. Alright, 2 special rules. Fuses and liquid burning flares. The driver of the commercial motor vehicle is equipped only with the fuse with the liquid burning flares and place with lighted fuse with liquid burning of the flare. The location specified in B1 of the section. There should be at least 1 lighted fuse liquid burning flare at each of the prescribed locations along with the commercial motor vehicle is stopped. Before the stopped commercial motor vehicle is moved, the driver shall extinguish and remove each fuse and liquid burning flare. Daylight hours. Except for provided in paragraph B2.3, the section during the period of lighted lamps are not required. 3 bidirectional reflective triangles and 3 lighted fuses and liquid burning flares should be placed as specified in B1 of the section within the time of 10 minutes in an event where the driver elects to use only the fuse of the liquid burning flares in lieu of the bidirectional reflective triangles and red flags. The driver must ensure that at least 1 fuse and liquid burning flare remains lighted at each of the pre-described locations along with the commercial motor vehicle is stopped in part. Alright, 3. Business and residential districts. Placement of the warning devices are not required with the business and residential districts municipality except during the time of the lighted lamps are required with the street highway lighting of the efficient make of the commercial motor vehicle clearly discernible at the distance of 500 feet of person on the highway. Hills and curves and obstruction. If the commercial motor vehicle is stopped within 500 feet of the curve of the crest of the hill with the other obstruction of the view, the driver shall place a warning signal required paragraph B1 of the section in direction of the obstruction in view of the distance of 100 feet to 500 feet from the stopped commercial motor vehicle so that they afforded ample warning to the use of the user highway. Alright, B5, divided one-way roads. A commercial motor vehicle is opposite of the travel portion of the shoulder of the divided O1 highway, but the driver shall place the warning device required in paragraph B1 of the section with a 1 warning device distance of 200 feet, 1 warning device distance 100 direction with approaching traffic in the center lane with the shoulder occupied with the commercial motor vehicle. He shall place 1 warning device at the traffic side of the commercial motor vehicle within 10 feet of the rear of the commercial motor vehicle. Or 6. Leaking flammable material of a gasoline and other flammable liquid combustible and liquid gas seeps of the leaks of the fuel container. Commercial motor vehicle stopped upon a highway. No emergency warning signal producing flame shall be lit in place except as such a distance from such liquid or gas will assure the prevention of fire explosion. 392.24 emergency signals and flame producing. No driver shall attach or permit any of the person attached with lighted fuse or any other flame producing emergency signal to any part of the commercial motor vehicle. Alright, 392.25 flame producing devices. No driver shall use the permit use any flame device emergency signal protecting the commercial motor vehicle transporting division 1, 1, 2, and 1, 3 explosion any of the cargo tank motor vehicles use the transportation of any of the class 3 division 2, 1 or loaded empty of the commercial vehicle to use the compressed gas for the motor in lieu of their emergency reflector triangles, red electrical lanterns, red emergency reflectors, and shall be used the placement in which shall be in the same manner as prescribed in 392.22b. Alright, subpart D. Use of lighted lamps and reflectors. 392 through 30 to 32 is reserved. 392.33 obscured lamps and reflective devices material. No commercial motor vehicle should be driven in any of the lamp of the reflective devices material of subpart B of 393 with the title obscured with the tailboard or by any part of the load of the covering of the dirt with any other added vehicle or work equipment of the otherwise exemption. The conspicuous treatment of front end protection with the devices or trailer may be obscured only by any other part loading of the transported. Alright, 7. Subpart E, license revocation, and duties of the driver, 392.40 through 41 reserved. Subpart F, fuel precautions, 392.50 ignition fuel prevention. No driver is employed with a motor carrier's fuel, commercial motor vehicle of the engine running except when necessary to run the engine fuel of the commercial motor vehicle. Smoke exposed of any open flame vicinity of the commercial motor vehicle being fuel commercial motor vehicle of the using unless nozzle of the fuel hose continuously contact the intake pipe of the fuel tank. Permit insofar as practicable any other person engaging in the activities would be likely to result in fire explosion. 392.51 Reserve fuel materials and trade. Small amounts of fuel for the operating of the maintenance of the commercial motor vehicle, including auxiliary equipment designated for the material trade. See Title 49 CFR 171. A aggregated cost weight with the materials trade on motor vehicles not exceeding 440 pounds. Packaging gasoline must be made with a metal or plastic form of the requirements of Title 49 CFR Part 171, 172, 173, and 178. Requirements Occupational Safety Health Administration of the Title 29 CFR 11910 106 for packaging Group 2 and gas, including gasoline, and 3, including aviation fuel and oil, or ORMD material limited to 66 pounds or 8 gallons. For diesel fuel, capacity of the package limited to 119 gallons. Division 2-1 material cylinders limited to gross weight of 220 pounds. Division 2-1 material flammable gas, including liquefied petroleum gas, butane, propane, liquefied natural gas, and methane. 392.52 reserved. Alright, subpart G, prohibited practice. 392.60, unauthorized person not to be transported unless specially authorized written to do so. Motor carrier when under whose authority commercial motor vehicles being transferred. The driver shall transport any person with a permit, any of the person transported on any commercial motor vehicle other than a bus when such authorization is issued. The date and the name of the person with the transported to the points where the transportation to begin and the end of the date upon which the such authority expires. With no written authority, however, the still necessary for the transportation of employees other persons assigned with the commercial motor vehicle, the motor carrier, any person transported with the aid of the being or is injured in case of accident or the other emergency, attending with the delegated for the care of the livestock. The section shall not apply with the operation commercial motor vehicle to control the operated any of the farmer used in transportation agricultural commodities for the products thereof in his or her and for the transportation supplies on his or her farm. 392.61 reserve. 392.62 safe operation of bus. No person shall drive a bus with a motor carrier shall not require a person the permits to drive the bus unless a standees on the bus with the required standee line other means of the prescribed in 393.3 393.90 of the subchapter all aisle seats of the bus conform with the requirements of 393.91 of the subchapter the baggage of the freight of the bus of the stove and the screw of the manner of sures. Unrestricted freedom of the movement of the driver and proper operation of the bus. Unrestricted access to exit of any of the occupants of the bus. Protection of occupants of the bus against injury resulting in falling displacement applicable to transported in the bus. 392.63 towing, pushing, or loading buses. No disabled bus if the passengers should be towed or pushed, and should any of the person of the permit with the use of the bus with the passengers aboard for the purpose of the towing, pushing, any of the disabled motor vehicles, except in the circumstance with the hazard passengers would increase the observance of the foregoing provisions of the section, then only traveling to the nearest point with the safety of the passengers is assured. 392.64 riding the clothes of the commercial motor vehicles with proper exists. No person shall ride the clothes of any of the commercial motor vehicles for the meaning of the inside of their outfit obtaining exists. Exit said main shall contain the addition of the merit the ready operation of occupation. 365 266 carbon monoxide. The commercial dispatch drive or commercial motor vehicle to permit any passenger thereon, whether following conditions are known to be exist until such conditions have been remedied or repaired. Where an occupant has affected by carbon monoxide has been detected in the interior commercial motor vehicle, and when the mechanical condition of commercial motor vehicle is discovered and would be likely to produce hazards to the occupants of the region with the carbon monoxide. 392.67 heater flame producing commercial motor vehicle in motion. No open flame heater is used for the loading and unloading commodity transported operating while the commercial motor vehicle is in motion. 392.68 and 69 reserve. 392.71 radar detectors used in possession. No driver should use the radar detector in a commercial motor vehicle or operate the commercial motor vehicle that is equipped or contains a radar detector. No motor carrier shall require or permit a driver to violate paragraph 8 of this section. Alright, subpart H, limiting use of electronic device. 392.80 prohibiting against text. Prohibition. No driver shall engage in texting while driving. Motor carriers. No motor carrier shall allow the require the drivers to engage in texting while driving. Definition. For the purpose of section, driving means operating a commercial motor vehicle with a motor running, including temporary stationary because of the traffic control devices, other mandatory delays. Driving does not include operating commercial motor vehicle without motor running when the driver moved the vehicle to the side or off the highway as defined in Title 49.395. It's all the location where the vehicle can safely remain stationary. Emergency exemption. Texting while driving is permissible by drivers on a commercial motor vehicle when necessary to communicate with law enforcement. 2. Using handheld mobile telephones. No driver should use the handheld mobile telephone using the commercial motor vehicle. No motor carrier shall allow the required driver to handheld mobile telephone while driving the commercial motor vehicle. Definition: for the purpose of this section, the driving may operating with a commercial motor vehicle on highway, including the temporary stationary, because of the traffic control device to other monetary devices. The driving does not include the operating commercial motor vehicle. The driver has moved the vehicle side of the highway, held with the location where the vehicle can remain stationary. An emergency exemption of the handheld mobile telephone is permissible to drive the commercial motor vehicles when necessary to communicate with law enforcement, other officials, and other emergency services. Alright, and that was part 392, driving commercial motor vehicles.